Hey guys, so Lord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be wrapping up our looks at the DC Multiverse Deluxe Theatrical Edition Batman Returns wave with good old Danny DeVito, aka the Penguin himself, brought to us by the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys. And I said before that this is my favorite figure in the wave, mostly because I like Danny DeVito. I think he's effing hilarious, but this Penguin is probably, next to the DC Classic one, the best Penguin we've gotten from McFarlane Toys. I didn't mind the Arkham one, really, but that's not my mind's eye view of Penguin. This is close to what he looks like in the animated series, and he's got a soft goods coat. The only thing he doesn't have are good hands to hold his umbrella, but I do believe he reuses some parts from that other Penguin, so if you wanted to swap hands, you probably could. So, with that in mind, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Mr. DeVito has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off the collectible trading card. File on the back. Penguin is a short little bastard who's usually rich, but I don't know if this one is. That said, a Penguin figure is not complete without his umbrella, which is just a standard umbrella. It doesn't even have anything special going on. The tip was not warped out of package. I appreciated that, but the handle does appear to be a little large for his grip hands, so be mindful of that. But I'll figure out something so he can hold that. But that's all you get, really. And now, his hat is removable, but I don't want to take that off because I got it sitting on there fine and dandy. Got a hockey puck display stand, of course. And then he's got this soft goods coat, which I had to heat up the head to get to sit like a coat because the collar was like on his back for some reason instead of under his hair, which there's plenty of clearance to get this under his hair, so it's a wonder why they didn't do that. But you could see that his hair sits along his back nicely. It does limit his articulation somewhat. You can only really turn his head a little bit before you risk popping it off the ball joint. But I don't mind that. I like the way this sits. Is it perfect? No. I could have it on a little crooked. So I might take it off and adjust it later. But at any rate, it's good enough for now. But as far as the rest of his articulation goes, that is not hindered by the coat. His arms can move out. He does have that butterfly thing going on, but it's very limited. Don't get a ton of range out of that. He does have bicep swivel. His shoulders will turn. He does have double elbow, which that does thankfully work okay. He's got the ball hinge wrists, which will rotate, hinge, and swivel. And if I'm not mistaken, he's supposed to have like flipper hands. Does he have the flipper hands? Looks like he's got the flipper hand on that side. What about this side? I think he does. I'm not feeling like fingers here. It feels like a solid piece. So that's cool. For a second, I thought he didn't have the flipper hands, which is the thing with this version. Because Tim Burton went all out making him, like, ugly as sin. That said, he does have a ball-jointed waist. Oh, he actually does get a little bit of pop out of that. So that's cool. His hips will kick back and forth, out, back down. No, oh. The fat dude's got a thigh cut, but everyone else doesn't. Okay. He does have a single-jointed knee with rotation there. I mean, I believe these are the same Penguin legs we've seen a million times with the same pant cuff that gets in the way when I try to adjust the ball pegs in the ankles, because I did the old switcheroo. I showed this in my Catwoman video yesterday. That, you know, rotate the ball peg around on most McFarlane figures and flip the foot around. They're a little easier to stand, but the problem is they use those stupid sculpted ankles on a lot of figures now, so that's not a feasible option. But on this guy, since he A, has pant legs, and B, I think has ball pegs anyways, not sculpted ankles, it totally works. So there you go. But he does have some rocker, some swivel, and the toe hinge. So very cool. I like this figure. He's still not worth 35 to 40 bucks, but I think of the three, he came out the best. And that's probably due to the fact that the parts they reused actually really work here. They work in his favor. That and it's Danny DeVito. You can't go wrong with He Who Rocks the Magnum Dong. That's a Sunny in Philadelphia reference for all of you out there. So, with that being said, it's time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's good old Danny DeVito alongside the rest of this deluxe theatrical wave I not only have from Batman Returns, but I've also reviewed on the channel. So please check those videos out if you haven't already. Really appreciate it if you did. But of course, we have both Michael Keaton and Michelle Pfeiffer. And as I mentioned in their videos, I think the scaling is fine here. Danny DeVito's short, Catwoman's in the middle, Michael Keaton appears to be the tallest. I think. Whether that's accurate or not, I don't mind. I think that's fine scale for these characters in a comic book setting. So it works for me here as well. Getting these two out of the way, however, so we can make way for our two regulars. Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith. And the infamous 11 Spawn, who, of course, is going to tower over everyone in this sense because Penguin's a short little bastard. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and once again, deluxe price tag aside, the only major gripe I have with good old Danny DeVito here is not only the lack of extra hands, but the hands he's got don't really hold the umbrella all too well. Either the grip is too small, or the handle is too big. Whatever the case may be, this umbrella is the right pain in my nuts to get in his hand. And if it is for you, let me know in the comments below. That said, I also wasn't fond of having to pop the head off to get the coat to actually sit where it's supposed to, but I do understand that they made it easy to remove out of package in case you wanted to swap it out with the coat from the Penguin Commandos. So it's a choose your own adventure situation, I guess. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, catch you guys later.